Hello, everybody, and good evening. Good afternoon. My name is Noor Sarud, and my colleague will explain today a workshop with me, Najat Sheikh. Hello.
Hi, everyone. Hope you're doing well.
So today our virtual workshop will be about how to present your final project poster. And we have a few subtitles. We'll read about it to explain what will we talk about during the presentation. Our first approach is going to be about the tips and tricks to design your poster. Secondly, organizing and arranging the presentation of your poster, plus your detailed work. And lastly, the advice on oral performance and preparation before the jury. So let's move on.
Okay, the first step in designing your poster is choosing the layout of your design. We have three most common layouts that students usually use. The first and the most common is a gridboard layout. This layout is very easy to design, very legible, meaning it's easy to read. You can coordinate it easily vertically and horizontally. And it is, I think it's the most common type of layout. Secondly, we have the main image. This layout is very eye-catching, very creative. Mostly the renders are the focal point. And the colors usually emphasize what you're trying to showcase, or basically your focal point. And the third type of layout is a blended board. This type of layout is my favorite, actually, because it tells a story. It's very creative and it has a very specific organic flow. Okay.
So if you guys want to screenshot this slide, you're very welcome to be aware of what are the different layouts you're supposed to choose before designing your poster.
Design.
Yes.
This is an example of a grid board.
So the grid board here, we have on the right side, two types of grid forms of design. We have on the right a white background, and on the left we have a bulky background. It's very dark, and it emphasizes the images, but you can see the white background shows the detail of your work more than the darker, bulkier background. Because if you are required to have so much details, you should follow the grid board poster and try to be smart in choosing your backgrounds. I know it might be a little bit exciting to choose the colors fast, and I want to see this and I want to put this type of color, but at the same time, you have to show your work more than the colors of the poster. So for the grid board, I suggest as a student, always try to use a white and light background if you're going to put a lot of details.
Yes.
Here we have an example of where to put what, like the 3D render should emphasize its importance. The information text should be layouted below each other and not scattered all over the poster. The site and the site details and the site details too should coordinate each other. And lastly, if you have a section, I prefer to put it below the end of the poster to demonstrate its plans above it.
Mm-hmm.
Do you want to say more?
Yeah, this type of layout is very basic, but sometimes you need a basic layout because you have a lot of work that you want to demonstrate. So yeah, if you have like an urban project or something of that scale, it's nice to use a grid.
Like a landscape course, maybe?
Yeah.
All right. So moving on to the next board, which is considered my favorite. It's the main image board. As you can see on the right side of this slide, you have two different ways of putting in your main image render. So the main image render, I I'll always say it. If you want to put a perspective render of in the poster, you should start putting it in the first artboard. It shows a very brief. It shows a very brief concept of what you're doing and what is your building, and if it's a campus, if it's a residential house, if it's any other functions.
Yeah.
Correct?
And with this type of layout, it's nice to not put as much information. It's nice to keep it simple and keep the focal point on the main image that you want to present, where it is different than the grid layout where you have a lot of information.
Mm-hmm.
Here, it's actually better if you keep it light and simple.
We always recommend to always put a main image in multiple posters, because it showcases your designs in the most beautiful way possible. Never underestimate your renders. Always have the confidence to take good shots and applying them to your artboards.
Yeah, always scale them up.
Yes. Moving on to the last type of layout, which is the blended boards example. Go ahead, Nadia, explain it.
The blended board, as you can see, is basically it takes a lot of work and a lot of detail, but it flows beautifully across your boards. With this type of layout, I recommend having minimal colors. So don't use a lot of different colors because it already has a lot of details. And it does take a lot of time to blend it in together, but in the end, you're going to have something very beautiful.
Correct. Just one more last thing. The blending board here is as Najla said previously, that it has to be a specific color palette, and we'll be explaining that shortly. So here we have our own examples of our previous projects. This was a part of a Gdia competition. It's an art complex. This is our posters that we wanted to demonstrate the main image board.
Yes.
So here, if you see on the left side, you can see the perspective of the building showing and showcasing its concept, showcasing its materials, showcasing the site itself. So the render is not just a picture, it actually shows your work. It wins actually the project.
Yeah. And
using the main image board, always make the background go all the way up, as if it's an image taken alone. And then you can put all the information, the concept, the diagrams, the zoning, the exploded forms scattered all over the poster in a coordinate way.
Yes.
All right.
All right. So now we're going to talk about the color palette. It's very important to follow a specific color palette. Your colors should be derived from your project, or they should complement it. So whatever you're going to contrast or complement, you should follow a specific color palette. We recommend, this is what we do, taking a color palette from online. There are a lot of examples. There's a website called Canva. We put it still over here.
Many color palettes, many types of colors, it never ends actually. You just have to find the right color palette for your own project.
Yes, and then you can capture it, take it into Photoshop and use the eyedropper tool and color everything with like 4 or 3 colors.
Let's just get into the steps of it. You can download the color palette, or you can easily screenshot it from the internet. That's what we do. And always try to save anything you capture that you're applying to your poster. Always try to save it and put it in a file so you can use it again later on. Just drag the image that you screenshotted. If it was this method, if it was this color palette, you just drag it, put it in Photoshop, use the eyedropper tool, and just put it all over your project. As long as you're using a color palette that is stable and not, in other words, color scattering. We don't want a mess in colors. All right.
This is an example of dark color palettes. As you can see, these are absolutely beautiful, beautifully integrated, very dark. The colors in itself, other than the project or the demonstration, they tell a story. You feel there's a theme with just the colors alone.
Correct. Using dark color palette doesn't mean you have to use dark colors. No, you can see there are light corners here demonstrated. In the middle, you can see there's a light brown in the demonstrated in the render. But going with a dark color palette means having a theme.
Yeah,
it's more of a theme than just choosing dark colors.
it emphasizes also the work. As you
really
can see
does.
on the right, the cubes are lighter. It shows the light from within the building. So that's a nice example of using the color to emphasize your renders or your whole, to tie together your entire poster.
Yeah, correct.
Yeah.
Moving on to the light color palette. Choosing light colors actually harmonizes the poster design, and it has basically the same undertone. It doesn't, as I said, it doesn't have to be light. No, you can have pastel yellow and then brown, and then another pastel color.
Yeah.
It just has to be on the same level.
The same hue.
The same hue. Yeah.
And as you can see in the middle, they used a mustard yellow with the blue. This is color blocking. Color blocking is hard, but it shifts away your eye vision, and it creates a focal point with colors other than your project itself.
All right. If there are any questions on the previous slides, please do not hesitate in asking us. We're gladly to answer anything you guys want. After all, this is all experience and knowledge from the both of us during our years in Yamam University. All right.
So you've chosen your layout, you've chosen your color palette. Now the next step is to sketch the vision. Sketching the vision makes a mental map reference of your work. Starting your poster design in a digital version takes a lot of time, and it's not really creative way to start. It's better to sketch it out first. What are you gonna put where? The patterns, to basically make space for single thing that you need to put.
Every architect starts with a simple sketch. So behind every great idea is a very simple sketch. You should also approach that idea in designing the coordination of your poster. Simple sketch, know where to put what. That will give you a clear vision of how to start the next step.
So you have to keep in mind while sketching your vision is to create a concept for your poster based on your presentation, based on your flow. The poster has to showcase a concept of its own. You have to make it make sense with the way you're presenting. You have to coordinate and lead the judge's eyes with you. Don't just start randomly or place things because they look nice here. No, you have to place them based on your strategy. How are you going to present them?
You have to arrange everything based on what you will show first. What are you going to show first? And you have to also put a lot of effort to make sense. Everything has to put effort, especially making sense in your poster.
Yeah, it's not an easy thing to do.
No.
It needs time. But of course, if you can do a whole project, you can design a poster.
Exactly. So this example of an architecture student, he or she chose the theme of a comic book.
Yeah.
As you can see, the posters are actually demonstrated as a story, as a comic book. And that's a pretty way of selling your project. That's a win.
That's very creative.
Yeah. So always tell a story.
Yes, and always have a theme.
Exactly.
Going on. Arranging your poster. Basically, this is something that's given by the instructor. Your studio instructor is going to tell you whether it's a horizontal A0 or like a long poster or whatever. I see a lot of students, I don't know why they don't follow what the instructor says. They just print out whatever they have,
Always.
which honestly looks very unprofessional.
Yeah.
You
So
should always coordinate with the students and coordinate with your instructor. It's even إذا ما عليه درجات or something. It's makes you look professional.
exactly. So if you are having or going to present a jury with your class, I do recommend to all agree on what form of or what layout you should all get. You all should unite as a class.
Yeah.
It is awkward and odd if two students get this type 1 and the rest of the students get type 2. Makes sense, right? You can't put two different layouts in one class. If it's a jury, I recommend you guys all unite and agree on what type of poster layout you will be giving in.
Yeah.
Okay, so we'll move on in explaining how do you display your concept, site plans, sections, and elevations.
Yeah. Firstly, your concept. Creating and sketching a digital or hand-drawn illustration of your concept is very important in explaining your project. Everything from your poster stems from your concept. So you have to, the concept is basically a demonstration of how you think as an architect. So show that, give a lot of effort. Don't just leave it for the last point. Here are some examples of actually students' work of the concept.
Yeah.
And
another point, when you design your concept, you don't have to follow one type of routine. Meaning, I personally like designing my concepts in a digital way. I like sketching it in a digital way, in a form, so I can fill the colors easily. I like to show my concept in a 3D form. It doesn't have to always look like a 2D form. Be creative. Be creative in showing your concept, because your concept is the story of your project. And if you lose that, you lose the whole thing.
Yes, you can't grab the judge's attention.
So, for example, when I when I had to demonstrate my concept on the left side, it was a symbol of our country, and a lot of people were very impressed of the concept. So try to be creative and always try to make sense. It doesn't have to be a shape of a realistic thing.
It could be based on wind direction.
Exactly. Yeah.
Whatever environmental elements, but you have to really show that.
Yeah. It's not just being inspired by a plant and then implementing that in a concept. That's basically being fake. Yeah. That's a fake concept. Yeah. So always try to be idealistic in your concept.
Secondly, the site plan. The site plan honestly should always be rendered. It should always have shades, and should always have contrast between shade and light. It should show site elements. It should show the entrances clearly. And a nice addition to that, you can add some really nice illustrations of your landscape elements.
So this poster
on the right,
it is also our previous work. It was a landscape course. I was required to add the trees, the vegetation that I used, and why. It's not just a matter of design and putting what type of tree. Every tree that had a reason of the implementation. Demonstrating your site plan in the most professional way I can say is not just adding the site plan in the poster, even though it's so gorgeous and it's mesmerizing and the colors are amazing. But pointing out the landscape elements of the same site is a remarkable move. You can show your environmental strategies, you can show your type of soil and how the trees are being grown, and you can show your if you have an amphitheater, if you have a depressed area, if you have a high area, all that could be shown in your site plan.
Yeah.
And I prefer always to position your plans north side up.
Yeah. It makes it look more professional.
Yeah, even though if it looks a bit odd in the sizing of your poster and you feel like it doesn't look right, no. You have to make it work with the right size that you are choosing or have to work on. Moving on, yes, here we have.
This is an example of a landscape poster that we did as a group work in a landscape course. As you can see, so I'm going to zoom in, we have the site plan, we have the detail sections. These detail sections actually got us a lot of marks. They were so easy to do and they're so fun to look at. They give life to the project.
So our suggestion here and our advice is just don't ever put the site plan just like that. You have to show what's in it, how it's working, what are the functions, where do people do this, where do people do that, where are the environmental aspects. Don't ever forget the environmental aspects. They are the most important element in your poster and it will make it real. Without the environmental strategies being demonstrated, the project might not even work.
Yeah. Demonstrating your plans. Obviously, you can't always render the entire plan, especially if you're working on a large-scale project or if you're an architecture student. You can still showcase your plan in a very creative way. Look here in the first example, they put the plan overlaid on top of a render, which is very simple. They didn't do anything with the plan. This is just from AutoCAD, and with some Photoshop tricks, they put it on top of it.
Like, this is a simple demonstration, but it really shows brilliant coordination.
Yeah. Or as you can see in the middle, you can you can contrast it with something else in the background, just some gray colors, some brush strokes. It would look very beautiful. Or you can go very dramatic, adding like some textures or some shading and lighting, as you can see in the left, which would look very bold.
So let's just talk about what shows. You think that putting a dark color might not show the plan, but if you can really see, the circulation is shown, the walls are being shown, everything is pretty much clear. It's just how to use this texture correctly, you know?
Yeah.
Right? And I definitely would recommend you guys to design your posters in this way as architects. Interior architects have a more detailed specifications of wood material or any type of material.
Flooring, rendering. Yeah.
Correct. So as an architect, I think you should elaborate your plans as these examples.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, in sections and elevations are where you can go completely crazy. You can do whatever you like. You can be as creative as possible. As you can see here in this example, on the right, they put a pink sky and adding like texture to the underground. It really ties in the poster together and makes your sections and elevations pop.
Yeah.
You can also add some clouds, paper, like in this example, a paper sun. It would really look really nice based on your color palette, of course.
On the previous our previous slides, we said Okay, never mind. Back to what I was trying to say. Yes, demonstrating your sections and elevations is a remarkable way of showcasing your project, especially using the trees. So always put in mind the trees always have to be scalable to the building. Please do not put trees that are too big, and that would make that would put you in the spot actually, and that would question your scales in your poster. So always make the trees scalable to your building. It shows actually the height of your building. And another advice from me to you is when you choose a color palette and you want to make that color palette emphasize your trees, you can make those trees the same colors as you've chosen. So the trees doesn't have to look green. It doesn't have to look realistic. It could look cartoonish. It could
be geometric.
It could be a geometric form. It could be organic. See, I displayed here a couple of trees that I'd love to see students use in their posters. Clouds are very important. Clouds, they give a very realistic, they really do give a really realistic picture. The birds, always try to make birds small, from like, you can shrink the birds on one side and enlarge one bird from one side, making the bird look like as if it's flying towards you. And that's all like telling a story. I'd always recommend, never ever submit a section or elevation without the shadings on below it and above it. Always. And the shades, you can copy it from the internet and mask it under the sections and elevations, or
you can just download a brush and use like different brush strokes. It's actually really simple to do.
Yeah.
Okay. So here are some examples of our work, our sections and elevations. How we use the clouds.
Sorry for the disruption. So we were saying these are examples of our Qiddiya Art Complex project. I want to show you the clouds that we use. You see, you can use realistic clouds, which is blue, or you can use like gray clouds, depending on the colored palette that you chose. It all has to follow each other. Here on the right, my work, I have displayed the sky. Instead of putting it realistic blue, I have coordinated it in a green shade, because the green actually corresponds my concept. And it also, if you can see the shades below the sections and below the elevations, they're dark green. They also follow my color palette that I have chose. I added the color water sun, color water clouds, a couple of birds. I have demonstrated mountains behind this building. And actually, it's not just adding any background, no, because Qiddiya is surrounded by mountains. So I wanted to make it as much realistic as possible. And yeah, so this is what we did. And I really hope we can see elevations and sections like this in this.
Yeah, it's actually really easy to make. It's just like a couple of Photoshop maskings and you're done.
Just always make effort.
And make time for it.
That's it.
Yeah. Exploded forms. So exploded forms are really easy to do, and they're really fun in the poster. They look really nice. Basically, in our university, we always, all of you work on Revit. All I have to do is change the level of the roof and the floorings to make it like flying, basically, and take it as a render or like as a line, AutoCAD line, and place it on your poster. It's easy to make. It demonstrates a lot, and it makes it look like you've put in a lot of effort when it's already there. Mm-hmm. You already have it. You just have to like do it.
So basically, you said put it in Revit, go change the floors. give the floors a couple of space between them, and
Mhm.
then go on the 3D screen and try to, as if you're taking a shot,
Yeah.
try to take a perfect shot, which is considered as ortho in Revit.
Yeah, ortho or isometric shot.
Yes.
It's gonna look actually very nice.
Yeah, so we recommend you guys doing these little steps. It gives a lot for your project.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you can enlarge it. It doesn't have to be to scale, or you can
No.
make it small.
Yeah.
And also detail illustrations, as we talked about them, they are so beautiful. They give the project life, and they are so easy to make. Literally, they're just a couple of PNGs put together, and they demonstrate an idea. They show the judges or the jurors that you have something to explain.
Correct.
So, and that's always a bonus point.
Yeah, it basically shows your functions.
Yeah.
It basically shows your attractions of what's around the building, what's in the building. They're
Yeah.
just simple sketches. So for me, because I use an Apple laptop, I have Keynote, and Keynote kind of makes me sketch a couple of illustrations like the one you have on the right, and you can do that also obviously in Photoshop. Like, look how simple it is.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I'm sorry, just going back to that slide. If you noticed the detail illustration above on the right, it's not in English, right?
Yeah.
But you can understand it.
They're easy to understand and very simple, very nice to look at. Even
So-
if it's Japanese, you can still understand it.
Exactly.
They put it above to save space.
But yeah, it was an example for you to know that illustrations can explain more than words.
Yeah. Don't put a lot of text. No
No.
one's gonna read it.
No one's ever
Always
gonna
go
read
for
it.
sketches.
Correct. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay.
Human figures.
So basically, what I see is a lot of students put their human figures randomly, place them randomly, which is, there's an actual correct way for you to do this. As you can see right here, your human figure can't be all in one depth. It's gonna make your image look flat. You should change the depth of the humans to make the image more realistic and to showcase your project more.
So here we have another illustration of the human figures, which is basically what's wrong here is the repetitive and equally distant distribution of the people competes with the building's rhythm. So when I look at this, I actually look at the human figures, not really the building. I don't really understand the building anymore due to the positioning of the human figures. The correct way of doing it is you have to create groups of the human figures and complement the rhythmical facade by their uneven distribution. Sorry about that. And the last correction here is basically
human figures should never be placed directly on a geometrical axis, as you can see here. They like windows or on the edge of the building. People should be placed to complement the overall composition of the elevation. So this is a very important point that really transforms your section or your elevation.
So you have to show how the human figures are going to be using the building.
Yeah.
So it's not a matter of just putting people in to scale the building. No, it's a matter of how they're going to use it.
Yeah, and also to scale it.
Correct. Yeah. So we put a couple of different figures here, human figures. You can use a black and white completely silhouette figure. It works a lot. And you can use colored human figures. Or you can use sketches.
Yeah.
You can actually sketch your own human figure, then go to your any nearest printer and scale it to your computer. So all these simple steps of the human figures just need to be understood right. And the very most important strategy that has to be shown in your posters is the environmental strategies. We should put so much effort in this.
Yeah.
Why? Because it actually shows how your building is working.
Yeah.
Without showing your environmental strategies, there's no such thing as a real building.
Yeah.
It's just a wall and a roof, which
Yeah. It's
everybody
just a
can do
design.
it.
It's just a composition.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So please, I urge you to search for environmental strategies before designing. Make your building sustainable, because this is the actual right way.
It's actually also a very strong point to add. An environmental strategy could actually get you an A if it's not a requirement. I mean,
It's not about the grade. It's about making real sense.
okay. So here are some examples of also our work in case studies. For some courses, you're going to be required to print out a poster for your case study, and also for your site analysis. We just wanted to show you some of our work as a reference point, other than things that you will find on the internet.
Yeah. So for some of you, I think you guys haven't started designing posters yet.
Yeah.
It is one of the most best amazing phase, and the way the process of designing your poster, you will be so impressed of how much creative you are when you give so much time for it. As Najla said, they'll be asking you to print out case studies. They'll be asking you to print out site analysis. It has to be as perfect as your last jury poster.
Yeah.
In the end of the day, all these posters that we have designed actually reflects our personalities.
Yeah, and think of it this way. You spent 3 months designing a project. You should spend at least a week showcasing it.
Yeah.
For the actual design. You can't just place it randomly or leave it last minute.
You're right.
It has to be something strategic and something well thought out.
Correct.
Yeah. Oops.
So here's another poster that we designed as a group.
This was basically a site analysis of an urban project.
Mm-hmm.
And as you can see, there's a lot of work and there's a lot of words and there's a lot of requirements in this poster. So we chose to have a blank background, and we chose a kind of a grid layout.
Yeah.
So it would fit all the work, and it wouldn't look messy or bulky or
see, as much as you think there's so much text in this poster, for a fact from afar it makes sense.
Yeah.
Because it's coordinated right and it's distributed right.
Yes.
See, the concept that we have designed here on the left, the top left, advice from us to you: always emphasize your concept. Never make it too tiny, like on the side. It is as important as everything else you're applying on your poster.
Yes.
Try to make it part of the poster, really.
Yeah.
Pie charts.
Yes, and as you can see here, I'm just gonna zoom. We have the pie charts. We added like some little PNGs to it, which gives depth and gives like life to the just as a pie chart. Like simple details like this can really make it look like you put in so much effort.
Yeah. All right.
Okay. So
here is the last topic we'll be talking about, and it's very important for us to not leave you guys without explaining how to prepare and perform during your jury and before the jury.
yes,
As we both quote,
if you don't prepare, you can't perform. So you have to really prepare for the jury. You have to practice your words. You have to put in mind everything that you're going to say.
you can also practice with a lot of people around you. And I'll start by explaining what to do before the jury. So, before you start the jury, always know your mistakes. Meaning, not purposely know your mistakes and just letting it go off the loose. No. Let's say something happened and you didn't notice that a staircase is missing, or maybe the walls aren't attached to the roof properly.
Yeah.
Don't be afraid. We're here to learn. And those little mistakes, don't let anyone else show it to you. You have to understand it before someone asks you about it.
Yeah.
Be prepared. Always prepare an argument.
Yes.
We don't want you guys to fight. No, we want you to prepare a professional argument as an architect. You want to know how to answer and reply to your jury's questions. Don't ever hesitate and be quiet. You have to reply directly and
Yes.
professionally. Always print out a sample, an A3 of your poster. Why? Because so my experience as the first time I ever printed a poster, I'm sorry. Yeah, so the first time I ever printed a poster, I had a terrible experience. I enlarged one of my renders and made it as a background. I don't recommend anyone doing that, really. It didn't show my plans. The lines of my plans were not bold, not black. It was too plain. So print an A3 sample of your poster before actually paying and printing the real deal.
Yeah. So you can see the colors. The colors usually on the screen don't show through to color as in printing. So it's a good idea to print it in an A3 paper so you can see the real color.
Yeah, the color. Always remember, don't just choose any background and have so much confidence that it might work.
Yeah.
You have to see a paper of it as a sample. You have to print a sample of your poster. Again, always print a sample of your poster. And this is probably the most important advice we'll be giving you today. Always print a day or two ahead. Why? You don't want to be going to the final not printing. That's horrible. That will cause...
It will happen. You have to print a day before, or this will happen. You will not print on time.
Exactly.
You have to print it ahead. You have to at least a day. If you can, print a week ahead, but at least like 1 or 2 days before, because
why?
Everything will go wrong. Your poster could be deleted. Your laptop, something could happen.
Something could, yeah.
And everything will happen, actually.
Again, it also happened to me.
It happened to us a lot.
Yeah. And I was going on my way to the printer, and my final was 2 hours ahead of it, and I still haven't printed any poster. And as soon as I arrived to the printer shop, my laptop broke down. So I hope no one ever goes through the same situation as I've been through or as Najla has been through. So please, I really hope you guys are listening about that. Okay. And most importantly, I know this might seem unrealistic, but you gotta sleep.
Yes.
You are not a robot. No one can stay up for 5 days with no sleep. A real human being should perform correctly after they sleep well. Sleep, eat healthy, and do not stress. You got this.
Yes. Always know that it's the final step. Literally, it's gonna be over soon. So
Don't be
be
afraid.
confident.
We're all here to learn.
And during the jury, basically, the first thing you want to talk about is your idea, which is your concept, basically. That's the first thing the judges want to hear about. Anyways, they want to know, how did you come up with this plan? How did you come up with this composition? Where did your idea come from? But always get to the point. Remember that you're talking to architects. Don't explain everything in detail. They already know what you're talking about. They want to know if you understand or not. So always get to the point and show them that you understand it. Get ready for any type of question. Meaning, always answer whatever they ask you. What's the area of this place, or what's the size of this entrance? Always know these things. It makes you look more professional. And even sometimes the judges ask you about strong points in your projects, so you can talk about it. If you can't talk about it, it's a big, like, you don't look professional. So you have to know everything and what they're going to ask, and you have to prepare an argument about it. And always remember to smile to the judges, not during the presentation, obviously, but like, remember to smile and nod and be like,
giving a good impression of who you are.
Yeah, don't look tired and stressed, and that takes away from your confidence. And if you don't look like you're confident, you don't look like you care, or you don't look like you deserve an A.
All right. But that's completely true. Yeah. So I was going to say that never complain in front of your instructors that you haven't slept, or you haven't done this, or you haven't done that. Really, it's not their problem. It's your problem that you have to fix.
Yeah.
So try to look ready.
Yeah.
Like, be ready. Try your best. I know stress could take a lot from you, and it can ruin a lot of things, but
at least you look like you're not stressed, even if you are.
You chose this.
Yeah.
So you can do it. All of you guys, really.
And also an important point, don't argue with the judges in a rude way.
Oh, never.
Yeah. And in the end, they're here to teach you. So sometimes you have to be like quiet and listen and take it in. Don't like refute everything. You're not smarter than them.
Definitely not.
Yeah.
And respect. Always, please respect one another when the jury starts.
Yeah.
Respect wins actually everything.
Yeah. Okay.
All right, guys.
Yeah, thank you so much. Good luck to everyone. I hope you all do well. Here are our emails if you have any questions, or if you want to send us your posters, and
we can help you. We can help you with anything.
Yeah, we can help you with anything. Thank you.
Thank you so much, guys.
I hope you had a good session.
I really hope you guys enjoyed it. My name is Noor, and
my name is Najra.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you so much. Please don't hesitate.
Thank you guys so much in the comments.
We are always here to share our experience. We do not want to leave this university without leaving our footprints or any advice. Thank you. Yes, Abdullah Al-Sirud. I have a question, please.
If you guys have any questions, just write them in the chat.
Write them in the chat, and we can. Yeah.
Hi. First of all, I want to say that you both did a really great job presenting. And my question is, I have seen some spelling mistakes on the board. Would that affect the grade or not?
Honestly, it wouldn't affect the grade. I don't think so, but it wouldn't look professional.
Right.
Yeah, just try to stick to having the right grammar. At the end of the day, you are speaking in another language and you want to do it right.
Mhm.
So you don't want to look like you're speaking fluently and then your grammar is off. You know what I'm
Right.
saying?
Yeah.
So I'd urge you to like use strong vocab, use interesting words that you've never heard of. You can help a lot of people when you speak out loud in front of the jury.
Yeah.
When you have a good fluent accent and good grammar. It's not just the
Right.
accent, it's
Yes.
also grammar. Yeah.
All right. Cool.
I
Thanks.
hope I answered your question.
Yeah, you did. Thank you.
Awesome. تعرفتي مين
Can you hear me?
Yes.
First of all, very nice presentation and beautiful workshop. I just wanted to ask, how long did it take you to finish all of this? Was it hard?
So you mean the presentation itself?
Or the poster. The poster, usually, if you're asking about the poster.
Wait, see.
Sorry, yes, the poster.
Okay.
Yeah. Usually, I'd recommend 4 to 5 days. يعني تخلوها على جنب for the poster. بس like give it a week.
No. I think you should give it a full week. Why? Because you want to render amazing shots, and I'd give you what is it called? Lumion. Lumion is a program where you can render where you can take shots, amazing shots. The ones that we did in Gadia, that was Lumion. So you need time for that, and you need time for arranging your poster. I love graphic design. I really do. So I put a lot of effort in my posters. And
Yeah, I can see that.
yeah, I wish all of you guys like have the technique of making sense in your posters, and I feel like you can all do it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But
we
yeah,
are well informed, and it's an amazing presentation. Thank you very much.
Thank
You're
you.
very welcome.
Thank you.
Any questions?
Any questions, anyone?
We're gladly to answer you. Yes, Hala Musab. You have a question. Go for it.
Yes, can you hear me?
Yes.
As I commented, it was a very wonderful presentation, Noor and Najda. My question is very general. What advice would you give to future architects? As you explained through the presentation that it can get stressful and it can get hard sometimes. What if, like panic attacks or getting really stressful moments where, stress of the architect? What advice would you give if they get that stress?
Well, see, stress hits people differently. Some people can handle stress, and some people can't handle the stress of losing grades. Always try to go back to your morals when you stress. الحمد لله احنا هنا كلنا يعني اخوان. Have a good support system. Look for people who might help you. A lot of people are out there that are willing to give you from their time. You stress because you feel like you're doing bad and you might fail. That's the stress. That's where stress comes from, the idea of being a failure. But deep down, we have to think of how to calm ourselves down in the most peaceful way. دائما توكلوا على ربي، دائما ادعوا دائما
Like you have to know something. You're not here to be perfect. You're not like the best architect with dunya. You're a student. You're here to learn. You're gonna make mistakes. You're supposed to make mistakes and learn. You're not supposed to be perfect. So don't put that kind of pressure. On yourself. And like we all been through panic attacks وكذا, but it's not worth it. Enjoy the time you have. Like
enjoy learning.
Enjoy
learning.
Enjoy
what
the
you
process.
have. Yeah, you are very lucky to be part of this department, and this is a way of expressing yourself. So don't express yourself in being stressed. And
time management, coordinating your time, and also make time for fun. Like have fun. Don't like stress all the time.
Because if you stress at this time of your age, it will affect you in 10 years. If you keep stressing for the 5 years you stress. You think it might not show now, but it will show eventually. You don't want to waste your stress on being afraid of failing, right?
And what's the worst case scenario? You're going to get a D? Fine. Get a D. But do your best and
learn.
Yeah, your mental health always comes first.
Learn. I always urge you to take care of yourselves and learn.
Yeah.
Thank you for that.
Really good questions.
Yeah.
Any more questions?
Thank you very much.
You're very welcome.
Duha, say.
Duha, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Duha.
So first of all, thank you for this amazing presentation and effort that you did. Like it helped us.
في أحد قاعد يتكلم بس ما نسمع.
Okay, can you hear me?
Can you just
تعلين صوتك شوي?
Please.
Okay. First of all, thank you for your presentation effort.
You're very welcome.
Amazing presentation. And my question is, if I have a multiple sheets, like 6 to 8 sheets, and I need to arrange them as one unit, what's the best layout in your opinion to do that?
شوفي, the layout is based on your work. If you have a lot of work you have to show, or you have just a few things, that's how you choose your layout. The layout that I recommend is based on your project. Every project is different. So every project, there's a layout to showcase it. For me, my favorite layout is the main image, because it's the easiest to make creative, or to make it look wow.
If you are a very detailed person, I suggest you choose the blended.
Yeah.
If you are a very idealistic person who wants to showcase their like details in a way, in a grid form, you go ahead and do that. Right?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you very much.
But Duha, I'd always recommend you to try the main image poster. Try using Lumion. Try having a really amazing shot, and try placing it the way we showed you, and tell me what you think later.
So I tried the main image poster before, but the problem is in the final poster, it's multiple sheets, and I need to present them as one unit. So
you can make it continuous. You can make the render seem as if it's continuous من تحت. مو شرط يكون it's continuous, but it flows together.
You don't have to stretch the image all the way like across the whole posters just to unify it. No. You can emphasize a main image, and then let's say perhaps the other artboard, according to the main image, you will correspond it with an elevation. You get it?
Got it. Yes. Thank you very much.
You're very welcome. I hope we answered your questions. And if you guys have more questions or you're not ready to give us our questions today, the emails are on your left side. Please do not hesitate. We are here to help you guys. We're a family at the end of the day.
Any questions, you guys? Okay, so thank you guys. I hope استفدتوا, and I hope you have a great finals. And I hope your posters turn out better than what you thought.
Allah yas'adkum ya Rab. And I hope all your imaginative thoughts and ideas could be applied correctly in your posters. And I can't wait to see all of it.
Yeah, and thank you so much to Ms. Mahasan for making this happen.
Thank you so much. She has given us the opportunity to give a great workshop to all of you students. We should do this more often.
Yeah.
The peer-to-peer virtual workshop is an amazing experience, and I wish we continue this next year.
Yeah, and next semester.
Yeah.
And thank you to the previous workshops. مرة استفدنا صراحة.